Hello, I Priyanka Ramprasad will now be explaining some of the exercises taken up as a part of third semester studio project, which is integrated construction practices. The studio focus on the use of BIM and lean construction approaches to establish an integrated project delivery strategy. A mixed development high-rise was chosen for study, and I was assigned the role of an architect and BIM coordinator. Some of the exercises performed include BIMxP, clash detection, use of BIM for CBA, and green rating and quality checks. The project is located in Gift City, Gandhinagar. The ground floor of the project is being used for commercial purpose, and the rest of the 21 floors are for residential purpose. As of now, BIM has not been implemented on the site. Our scope of work for analysis and tracking includes civil and MEPF works for ground and 7th floor. We compare the traditional and BIM execution plan approach. The traditional system of project delivery was mapped out in project and divided into three phases: planning, design, and construction. The major issues identified in planning phase were: the consultants are appointed through reference with no contract document stating the safety rules and protocols outright. This led to a disagreement and postponement of work. Common discussion platforms, software, and formats were not established before commencement of work, which led to a lot of adjustment in the first few days. In construction phase, clash detection and resolution happens in weekly huddle meet in construction site, which can lead to stopping of work and delays. The other stakeholders are only brought in for issues regarding their field via mails and phones. There is no common platform for discussion. These were resolved in BIM execution plan by the use of collaborative platforms for coordination, frequent clash detection in design phase to avoid rework, and weekly huddle meets in execution phase, and suggestion of pain and gain share contract. The architectural element modeling for ground floor and 7th floor consists of walls, doors, and windows, which come under LOD 300. LOD 400 consists of finishes, under which come the wall finishes, which here is plaster and paint, the false ceiling, which for the builder scope is only for the bathrooms, the floor and stair finishes, of which there are three types: vitrified, anti-skid, and granite. The main challenges faced were the lack of grids initially, the visibility problems while modeling interior walls, and unfamiliarity with the software. These problems were then analyzed using waste matrix and A3 problem-solving techniques to find solution and optimize the process. To make sure that the quality of the models are as per required standard, a sample checklist for each stakeholder was created, which has been shown. It was referred to before working on the model. It has different parameters for each discipline. The quality checks were then done when the models were transferred from one consultant to another to eliminate errors. The schedule of exchange was included in the BIM execution plan. There are four types of checks that were performed as highlighted in a BIM execution plan. Visual check is done so that no unexpected model components exist and that the design requirement has been followed. Interference check identifies difficulties in the model where two construction components collide. Standard check is done to make sure the font dimensions, layers, and levels have been followed. Integrity checks are done to make sure there are no under or wrongly defined elements. A template sample used by BIM consultant has been shown. Various softwares were used for these checks, such as Revit, which were used for interference check. Solibri was explored for rule-based check, which helped in finding the component distance in MEPF pipes. This is not possible to do visually, and the use of software helped. Navisworks was the one we primarily worked on. The advantages and disadvantages we came across while exploring the software have been discussed. Some of the errors in the model found during these checks have been indicated, which were then resolved. The clash detection process was done 2 rounds as per our BIMxP schedule, once in LOD 300 model and once with LOD 400. In LOD 400, they were performed in 2 sets, with the second one being done after resolution of a few clashes. A report was generated after each clash. The group members met on collaborative forums to group the clash into relevant and irrelevant clashes for easier resolution. The instances of both grouping and resolution are mentioned in the slide. The models that were analyzed have been shown. Most number of relevant clashes emerged in MEPF elements as the number of clashes were less due to limited scope. The least relevant clashes emerged in architectural and structural. Most were modeling errors. One significant clash was found near the staircase area and ground floor where a sleeve for HVAC was missing. The CAD drawings were checked and the contractor was consulted to find out that a hole was drilled through the masonry wall to accommodate the pipe. The cost incurred has been tabulated in the report. The BIM model was simulated for IGBC rating in the exercise of choosing by advantage. The project considered has applied for IGBC certification. Due to limited scope of modeling, only resident health and well-being, which is the RHW, has been considered for simulation. This was done as per IGBC criteria. The building has been analyzed with both single glazed and double glazed glass for comparison. The glass specifications have been taken from site. The model was simulated in light stanza for illumination levels and daylight factor. The reports were then compared on the software and it was found that both the glass gave required level of illuminance for the project, with more than 75% of the spaces receiving above 110 lux of daylight. This proved that the building is eligible to achieve 1 mandatory and 2 extra credits. Similarly, daylight factors were simulated and compared for both the glasses and checked against the IS code specifications. Daylight factor values are closer to standard when considering the use of double glazed unit than single glazed units, making it more advantageous for the occupants. Choosing by advantage. The CBA was done, as mentioned earlier, on single and double glazed glass to identify which material adds the most value to client. Since the client wanted a green rated building, the factors chosen were more in line with the same. The stakeholders decided on which factors to prioritize and weightage was given accordingly, with the criteria of scoring clearly mentioned against each factor. Daylight factor values were gained through simulation. Double glazed glass was selected in the end due to its high score of 570, as the value it provided to the client per cost was more. These are the key learnings from the exercises performed. My takeaway as an architect was that the quality check procedures clearly defined in the BIM execution plan helped make a more accurate model, which led to lesser clashes. Use of collaborative platform while designing also helped gain useful insights from consultants from other disciplines. CBA or choosing by advantage and daylight analysis helped actively add value to the client and their priorities. The architectural process of design was made better from active collaboration.